Hi, welcome back everyone. Have you ever wondered what your priorities should be in the endgame? So in this video, we're going to discuss exactly that. You all love the videos about opening and middle game principles, so I'm excited to create more content like this. Now you will have a structured approach for the openings, middle game, and end game. So another favor I want to ask you, subscribe. Help the small creator like me. Only 3% of you subscribe, even though a lot more people are return viewers. So yeah, please help me. It helps a lot. So okay, let's start with the end game priorities. Okay, so what will be the first thing to think about? It's not going to be the most important, but very important key activity in these endgame priorities. Here we have a pass pawn, and you can go two ways about it. You can calculate and count 3, 4, 5, and then you have 4. Okay, we're on time. But an excellent geometric approach that you can take into account is looking at the pawn at h4. You can mentally draw a square with corners at d4, d8, h8, and then back to h4. So looking at the this is called the square of the pawn or the pawn square. If the black king can move into this square, inside of this square, before the pawn advances, then you know you are in time. You will be able to stop the pass pawn. So this is a better way. You don't have to count, but you know the geometry of the board is going to allow you to get there. So yeah, I'm just gonna make the move so you can, yeah, this is accurate. So okay. So yeah, here you're on time to stop the pawn. So yeah. All right. The second step in our pyramid is to control key squares or files. We're going to see interesting examples of this. There is a very important concept in chess which is called the critical square. So if the weaker side, in this case white, can get to this critical square, then you have a possibility, or you have a drawing position, not a possibility, but you have a drawing position. So the critical square in this occasion will be c1. Now, if black wants to push this pawn, that wouldn't be possible because now I can just cover the new critical square, which would be a1. So yeah, once you get in front of the king, then you know this is going to be a draw. So all right, in this position, the objective for white is to get the king in front of the pawn and also gain opposition at the same time. When white does so, he must have control over one of the critical squares, c5, d5, or e5. Otherwise, this is going to be a draw. So this is black to move. This is white to move. Then let's make the move so we can have more information about it. King f2 is the only move to win. If you go here, you're going to waste time. So here you also want to go over this diagonal. So yeah, you want to get the opposition, and slowly but surely now you don't have any chance to move into these squares, but you have c5 however. So you go here. Now maybe you can push the pawn, but that will be a mistake. You should not forget about the opposition. You get the opposition here, looking at the king, and now the king moves. You can also win more space. You can win more space. So and now don't forget about the opposition here. So you repeat, and now you can push. You can push the pawn. So yeah, this is how you get it done. Now you can move away. Now you can move away as you are pushing this pawn, and the king is controlling these three key squares. Pawn are usually a draw, but there is a couple of exceptions. In this case, what you worry about is this diagonal, right? The diagonal from h8 to a1, or vice versa. And black must decide whether to push his own pawn or try to stop this pawn. Okay, so what do you do with black? This is going this way, and this pawn is going this way. Okay, pause the video now if you want. And the correct move is to actually try to stop the pawn. Okay, I'm threatening to stop the pawn, so white has to move and protect his pawn. Okay, here. Now, black skin is very poorly located. If we promote with white, then black is going to get a check, and now I cannot promote my pawn. Now the move is to, okay, I'm gonna try to get in. I'm gonna try to get in with black and stop this pawn. Now I also got out of the way as black. I am not in this diagonal, so it's going to give me an advantage with black. Now that the king is here, now I can push my own pawn. Okay, I can push my pawn and I can win the race. I am 2 moves away from promoting, and white cannot do anything to stop it. This queen is going to be controlling this diagonal. Alright, this is also a very interesting example. White has an outside pawn, the a pawn. However, the black king is within the square of that pawn. So if we draw the diagonal here, sorry, the square, then we know that the black king is going to be on time to capture this pawn. However, there is a way to block this critical diagonal. The key is to advance the a pawn without letting the black king to catch up to it. Now, this is very counterintuitive. Like, why would you push this pawn? Not promote. Why would you push this pawn? Yeah, that's what you have to do. You push this pawn, and black has to take back. If he doesn't take, I just get my own pawn, and it will be promoted. So, and I am perfectly on time, and the black king has to go around it this time. He wouldn't be on time to stop it. So, yeah. So this is going to be just to show you the moves. Okay, just promote. Okay, don't blend. You also have to be aware of the threat. Don't push pawns in this case. You have to stop black's pawn, and yeah. So this is an example of blocking the critical diagonal. This is also a great example where black is going this way. Now, whether you play with white, because you know this is you're not playing for a win, but you also don't have to lose. You're playing for a draw. Um, Black will be able to win if he can get his king in front of the pawn. So if you can get the king in front of the pawn, then this is winning for white. White will hold the draw by changing this critical square. So the critical square is f5, correct? So you have to sack the pawn. You sack the pawn once black takes. Now the critical square has been changed to a4. Black wants to put the king in front of the pawn, right? However, that is not going to be possible as you have a tempo that doesn't allow the black king to win the game. So here I'm just gonna show you the moves. Now we can go here. Yeah, I am controlling the e3 square, and I am not letting black in. So here when you have the pawn in front of the king, you go back 1 square, and if you see once the king pushes, you wanna look at it as a mirror. Okay, you just mirror and then mirror the king, and you gain the opposition. Black now is going to lose the pawn, or is going to stalemate white. The third segment of this pyramid is going to be piece coordination and pawn promotion. So we're going to see some examples of both. First, okay, let's go here. Okay, so let's look at examples of poor coordination of the pieces. In this case, white is going to try to promote the pawn, but it's going to be difficult to coordinate them. Black is defending down a pawn. So what do you do with black in this position? it's always good looking for checks. You have a check here, however, the white king will be able to advance to g5. So maybe giving a check here first is going to be good. White also has available the possibility. However, everything changes now that you can take the pawn. So you can take the pawn, or the white might even move here. Then now this, you know that this is going to be a positional draw, as white, once white takes, now you can go after the pawn, right? So this is the only threat left. So yeah, you go after the pawn, and then go here. So what is black's best move? I think one instinct is to push the pawn here on f6, but then white will be able to push the pawn. What you have to do is don't let the king back in the game. So the king is going to be kind of in a cage. So you have a few free moves, but how do you continue? How does black continue to hold off the white king and the knight? Yeah, you can also go f3. It's very counterintuitive, right? Like, oh no, this pawn is going to push. But yeah, the opponent's king must not be allowed to come back into the game. So you don't allow the black king to get in. White is threatening to take this pawn, right? Although you don't really care that much because now you can go after the pawn, right? So once white moves, yeah, it's going to be out of tempo. Now you're threatening to attack the knight and the pawn at the same time. So let's just go here, and now you can take this, and with perfect play, this is going to be a draw. All right, let's look at this very interesting story. It looks like a draw, but it's actually white to move and to win. How do you start with white? You can pause the video now and try to figure out what is going on. The important thing to remember here is that you can use the knight, and you're gonna use the edge of the board. So this king is going to be very restricted. Now the only move to play for a win in this case is to push the pawn. And you're going to aim for a Zugzwang. So you give out your pawn. However, you're going to mate. You're gonna put your knight here. That is going to be your end play. So you're gonna put the knight here. How do you do that? Let's see. So how first you go here. Only move for black is to push the pawn, right? This is force. Now, if this was black to move, it will be a checkmate because there will be force, but you have to waste a tempo with the knight. Now you go here, give a check. Okay, so you're doing fine. What is going to be white's best move? You don't want the king allowed to come in here. So, okay, you protect these two squares. And now, once the black king moves, you cover this square. So it will never, the king is not going to move ever again. Now the king is going to free the rod for the knight to force the Zugzwang. What is the best move for white? Just to reroute the knight here. As you can see the end of the game. And here. Okay. And now this is force. So this is checkmate. Okay, this is an interesting story from 1962. This is going to be the last example of the coordination of the pieces that can help you save the game. Yeah, this is a very common story. Now, black is about to promote. However, you still have drawing chances if you find the right moves. I'm gonna show you how this is going to be done. The thing to remember is that the black king doesn't have a lot of space as he's on this edge of the board. So now what you want to do with white is to get your knight into a central position where it can keep giving checks. So once the pawn promotes or once the pawn moves, now what I'm going to do is I will give a check here. Now the knight is heading to the ideal central position, which is going to put it on e5. Now on e5, I am controlling, yeah, it's controlling a lot of squares. Now, once black gets a queen, yeah, I can push this pawn and give a check. If the black kings move here, I can fork, right? I can fork the queen and the king. So that is not possible. Black has to retreat. And now, what is the best move for white? Yeah, you keep giving checks, and you're going to force a draw forever. So yeah, you keep giving checks here, and this is a drawing position. All right, this is a very interesting example of promoting your pawn. And let's just look at this position as, okay, what is the best move? The first thing that comes to mind is I can just take the knight, and once black takes, then I am slightly better with white, but it's going to be difficult because black still has the passer, and I will have to work a lot just to get my pawns promoted. So okay, now what you can do is a crazy move. You can sack the queen. So once black takes, you can under promote to a knight, and now you're forking the two pieces. Okay, this is going to be a wild position. You have the opportunity to get a queen, but you have to decide here which pawn should be pushed. And black is also about to promote. Now, you might ask, why can I just take this pawn? Yeah, because black now can take the pawn and you cannot promote. So yeah, that's not really an option. Then you can pause the video here to try to figure out what is the best move. And the best move is just to go e7, right? Now, which pawn do you, sorry, which queen do you get here on d8 or on e8? Uh, yeah, calculation helps a lot here. Now you have a problem. The problem is black is queening, and you have to stop the queen from giving checks, correct? And yeah, I think it can also force a checkmate. So the correct square where your queen is going to be is d8. And I hope you saw two moves ahead where your queen is headed. Where do you want to put your queen? Because after black gets the queen, what is the right square to put your queen in? I hope you see it. It's queen d2. Yeah, after you get the queen on d2, now you are going to stop. You stop queen b2. So yeah, and now you have a huge advantage with white. Okay, the last piece of the puzzle or the last piece of the pyramid, which is going to be the most important, and this is why this is an inverse pyramid, because simplifying when ahead is the best thing you can do when you are winning or when you are open in material. So this is a not so simple example, but this is why to move, and you have you are up upon. Now, what is black's threat? Black threat is to go here, give a check, and eliminate this pawn. Right? If you lose the pawn, you wouldn't be able to win the game. Now you have to eliminate first the knight. You eliminate the knight. Now you can take the bishop, and you are up a pawn. Now I think we have learned so far how to win this game. You get the opposition, and yeah, this is a winning game for white. Let's see something more simple, where uh, you are about to promote this pawn. However, black can stop it if you don't make the right moves. So yeah, you are going to be doing forcing moves. You get a check here with the queen, and then another check with the purpose of getting the queen, the black queen. Now you can promote. So and the best thing about it is, okay, black is about to promote too. Yeah, but this one is going to come with check, and now you have a winning position. Okay, when you have a winning position, simplifying is going to be the key. So for instance here, you are going to always look for forcing moves. Then you can pause the video now to see what were the key moves. The king is wide open. Now you can just give up the rook. Oh no, but I'm losing my rook. Yeah, but this is going to be forcing because now there is no way to stop it. There's no way to stop this mate if you don't give up the if black doesn't give up the rook. So yeah, this is a completely winning position for white, and you should not have any problems in this endgame. Okay, and this position is white to move, and if you could only get rid of these two rooks, you can have a winning position. So if we disappear the queen and the two rooks, then you have these two connected pawns and this pass pawn. So let's just give a check here. Once the king moves, doesn't matter where, then you're going to have a completely winning position for white. Yeah, maybe you can just push the pawn here or try to create a pass pawn. But yeah, it's still winning. It's all good. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. It helps a lot when you subscribe. I will see you in the next one, and take care.